And here comes Dolores Lamb behind, and that's Mary Cassidy just before her. Here's Mary Cassidy again. We must have taken these a few times over just to make sure they were in. That's Mrs. Bowers, the first one. It was a great day for them. This now is back to after the school opening, round about June. You can see the grass, the way it has grown in the meantime. And I decided just to take a little short piece of film to see the activity of the children when they were out from the school itself. I'm sure some of them, when they see this, will have a bit of a laugh at themselves. There's little Ivana pin. Ivana died. Or it might have been Angela that died. One of the pin girls died. I'm not quite sure what her first name was now. It might have been Angela. I think it was Angela that died. That's Graham Durkin. This was the first school Holy Communion. We had a First Communion in the first year we were there, but we didn't have a school at the time. This is the one that was actually organized through the school itself. This was the first confirmation, and this was done by Bishop McKeown. A lot of these are married now too. It was on the 8th of October 1967. This is another confirmation. A different year. That's Father McNamara there. Come to think of it, it's the same confirmation, only two different shots of it. Because Father McNamara had died before we had had the second confirmation. That was Bruno, my dog. I had to get rid of him because he used to run across the road. I was afraid he'd get killed. This was the first Christmas party we had, and we had a young lad there playing music for the children, and Charlie Lockwood acted as Father Christmas. There goes Bruno again. He was used in an ad on one of the Channel 7 ads at one time to advertise cooling systems. It was quite a clever ad too. That's Charlie. Children got a great kick out of that. That house in the background is now where the plaza is. This is one of our extensions. As you can see, we didn't take it from the very beginning. In all, there were 5 extensions in the whole school, and there was 1 extension to the church. A lot of the labour that we used on this was unskilled, so a lot of it was very skilled. That's Bob Appleby in the little alcove there, talking to George Mazek, and Bob, of course, is a professional electrician. He did all of the electrical work, helped by others. We were graduating now as far as our morning teas were concerned, because we had the school to operate from, and we could use the veranda as a dining room, if you like. And the little small kitchen in the staff quarters was sufficient to help us. That's Fran Mahoney there. I can't see who it is at the back. The light is not clear enough. That's Hans Lieber again, who was our official painter in charge. And believe it or not, he was working today too at the final extensions to the church. They're washing down the walls here after they've cleaned them with spirits of salts. That's John McNamara. That's myself. Alan McGlinchey running at the back. Alan was the chief supervisor, the chief builder. We were actually building it on his ticket. That's Bob Appleby. This was taken inside, and the light wasn't too good, so the pictures didn't come out very well. But I lost a very lovely spanner in the sand there that they were digging out. So it's been in 100 years' time when they knock it down, and they might find it. Here's the sewerage again. Sewerage was one of the biggest headaches of the whole lot, because we had to go so deep with the leach drains. That was a chap, an Irishman, who dropped in. That's like Pat Mahoney. No, we weren't working at night. It was just as dark inside. Having morning tea again. That's Murray Boswood. The ladies move so fast I can't see their faces well enough to determine who they are. You can see a bit of green now that has grown in the meantime, because of course the school at this point in time has been going for about 2 years. That's Mel Dragicevic. He was a policeman, but had been a carpenter prior to becoming a policeman, so he helped us a lot with the woodwork. That's Ted Bowers again, the granolithic man, working on the extension. This was the first time we had built the stairs on the building, because the new extent, that's Irene McCullough and Ronnie Devereaux. Fitting the fly screens. And here they are painting chairs. We bought the chairs at 10 cents each also. Here's Bob and his mate putting up the fluorescents. Fergus Coleman. That's Peter Farrell. See the 10-shilling note stuck in the grass? He found that while he was doing the lawn mowing there. See, the lawn is getting better now, spreading and spreading. All the old sand is gone. That's Sheila Martin. Richard Lamb again. Since Richard's father was one of our electricians, Richard was around fairly often. That's Murray Kelly. This is a little child who tried to run home from school. And that's Norma Aud bringing him back, though she wasn't Norma Aud at the time. This was before she was married. This is a general view of the area just up on Grand Promenade. You'll notice that there is no median strip. And there's no tower on the church at that point in time. And this is Eggert's house, where the present parish centre is built. We bought that from them some years later for $35,000. See how narrow the Grand Prom is there? This was again, I think, a confirmation class from memory, though it could be First Communion, I can't see too well. No, it's probably First Communion. And the two sisters, this was another extension, and the man who dug this out for us, his name was O'Mara too. He lived up in Morley Drive at the time, and we had Queensland blues sown there, and it was a terribly difficult job to dig it out. It was very, very good lawn, but we had to dig it out if we were going to build the extensions. We used the grass afterwards to plant it somewhere else. At this point in time, of course, Coles wasn't there, and in fact, I don't think the plaza was there at this point in time either. This brickwork was the only brickwork that was done as free labour. A couple of fellows in the parish wanted to do something. They were bricklayers, and we didn't want free bricklayers because it was uneconomic to keep the building going on too long. So these two built the foundation section of the building for us, and then we employed bricklayers afterwards to do the rest. In the erection of this particular stele, our own fellows did this. We didn't call in professionals because by this time we were able to do it ourselves, so we did hire a crane. That's George on top of the roof directing things. That's the two-story building which now houses 2 classrooms upstairs, 1 classroom downstairs, and currently the clerical staff are housed there. That's Graham Edmondson, who is now a high school principal up the country. That's Phil McAdam with the white hat. These fellas all did the concrete for us free of charge. That's 4 fellas. I rang them up one Friday morning and they all agreed to come the following day, which was less than 24 hours notice. Phil McAdam. It was heavy work, that, pushing that big scoop around to get the concrete into the right location. Back inside the room again now, doing some of the cupboards. In those days we built all the cupboards inside on the site. That's Martin Meany. Hans Lieber again. And here goes the roof. We put insulation between the roof and the ceiling to break down the heat. But we find now that even that's not sufficient to do it, so recently sprinklers have been erected on the roof to keep water sprayed on it to keep them cool. I think that's the end of it now. Well, that's the early history of the school now. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that many of you who looked upon it don't bemoan the fact that you've got a little bit older in the meantime. I got tired taking photographs at that time because I got too involved in the actual work itself. So I didn't bother taking any more. But what follows is an event that occurred in 1988. And in that year, on the 6th of June, I celebrated my Ruby Jubilee. That's 40 years in the priesthood. So we had a big celebration, and there was a big crowd in the church. We all enjoyed it, and excerpts from that will follow on from this. And after that, then